Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 10 Dimensions of Wellness podcast, a space where we explore healing, wholeness, and everything in between. Each week, we connect with people who are doing real life work across the spiritual, emotional, creative, and physical dimensions of wellness. These conversations are tender, they're bold, and always rooted in truth. I'm your host, Mika Newton, and I'm someone who believes that rest, storytelling, and reclaiming our voices are medicine. Today's guest is Robin Blue Baker, founder of Rendezvous in Style, where tea parties become sacred spaces. Robin's story is one of reclaiming her truth, creating cozy spaces for women to heal, and finally letting go of secrets that were never hers to carry in the first place. This conversation is raw, it's powerful, and full of beauty. So whether you're listening with your favorite cup of something warm or catching this during your quiet time, I invite you to soften your shoulders and lean in. Let's get into it and welcome Robin.
Hi, how are
Hi,
you?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Robin?
I am doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to sit down with you. So we're going to start with this. What made you fall in love with the idea of hosting tea parties?
I think that I am still falling. I think it's a continuous thing.
Mm,
I don't think that it just happened one day and I was there. I think it's a continuous thing. But I feel like my first memory of tea, even though it wasn't a party, was trying to get in on my mom and my grandmother and some of the other ladies. They would have coffee when the kids
mhm.
went to choir rehearsal. And
Yeah.
so we were too young to drink tea. We were too young to drink coffee, but they would allow us to drink tea while they sat and played Scrabbled and yapped a little bit. And so going into tea parties just took me back to that childhood experience of being able to sit around the grown women drinking tea for me, and just experiencing what that felt like to be close to home. So all these years, tea has been that thing that took me back.
I
Mhm.
love that for you. I love that it takes you back to the little girl in you.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
the work you do is more than the tea. You're creating healing spaces for women to rest and release and just be. And I know you've mentioned that the idea of these parties began when you realized you needed healing from the inside out. Can you walk us through that moment?
Exactly. Healing from the inside out meant that there was some things going on the inside that I didn't know how to describe, didn't know what to call it, didn't tell anybody about because they were a secret. And I found that since tea was the thing that comforted me or made me feel sort of childlike, or in what seemed like a safe space, I thought that that would be the same thing as an adult. And so it seemed like having women get together, even if there wasn't to talk about childhood trauma, it was just to let their hair down and talk about anything they wanted to without having to look over their shoulder. And
Absolutely.
that's where we are.
What happens at the tea party stays at the tea party. That's the
Absolutely.
story.
It's a sacred space.
Yeah. You
Mhm.
said something powerful when answering some questions earlier. You said, I will no longer protect those who didn't defend me. What did it take for you to say that out loud and mean it?
It took time because I just came to that realization as an adult at 50 something. It
Yeah.
didn't come when I was young and thought that, okay, I'm just going to do this or I'm just going to say this and I'll have everything under control. No, it took some time. I think that's the biggest piece for me to come to a place to realize that it wasn't just me in the situation, it was the people who were there to protect me
Right.
who weren't protecting me. And I don't say that to blame them for something. I say that because maybe they did know.
Yeah.
And if they did know, maybe they weren't in a position to do anything about it. And
Yeah.
so not doing anything wasn't protecting me.
Yeah.
And so
And it's your
finally,
truth, it's like, same thing with holding on to things. The blame it's not to blame, but it's your truth
right,
to tell, regardless of anybody's feelings behind it, right?
Absolutely, because I've been carrying it by myself.
Right.
I'm ready to let that go. I would love to know who I would have been had I not had such a load to carry.
Yeah. I imagine after you speak the truth, there's some fear that still lingers. What kinds of what ifs came up for you, and how did you push through them?
The what ifs that came up for me are, what if they still don't believe me? What if this destroys the family that I have left? What if people feel some sort of way about me? Like, well, if that was happening, why didn't you tell? What took you so long to tell? And the overcoming for me is, I don't care about the answer to any of that. This is about
Amen.
me. And so they don't
That's
have
right.
to accept it. They don't have to believe me. They don't have to even acknowledge that I am coming forward. They don't even have to speak to me if they don't want to.
That's
But
right.
for me, this is freedom. Finally putting my bag down.
I'm so proud of you, Robin. I'm so proud of you. That's so powerful. That's so powerful.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah, it's time. So we're going to go a
You know,
little
sometimes they
deeper.
talk
Go ahead.
about those things that they want to take to their grave. This isn't one
Yeah.
that I want to take to my grave.
Yeah.
I want to let this go. I want to bury it before I'm buried.
Amen.
And it's time.
Amen. We're going to go a little deeper about silence. What role has silence played in your life, both the silence you kept and the silence others expected of you?
The silence is, and I didn't know it then, because like I said, it's taken years to process what to do with it all. And I feel like that silence was somebody trying to stifle me. And I realized that the sun never has to hide behind the moon so that it doesn't shine bright. The moon never has to blame the sun because it shines bright. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Right.
And I feel like, yeah, that silence was hindering my growth in some sort of way.
I can't
And
imagine.
I can't
Well,
let that
I can't
happen.
imagine that. Yeah. It's it only helps the others. Like it does nothing for you. It does nothing for your healing. It does nothing, like you said, for your growth. The silence only helps whomever transgressed you. So
Right.
yeah.
The
Just
silence
to let that
protected
go.
them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Right. While nobody was protecting me, it was protecting them. Protecting them from a secret that they wanted to hold. Protecting them from other people calling them out for who they are.
Right.
It protected them from if I had to, and I don't mean to blame, but if I had to put onus on somebody else, it protected somebody from saying, oh, if I acknowledge it, then I'll have to do something different that I'm not willing to do.
Yeah.
And so in the meantime, while they were making decisions on what they didn't want to address, they left me to make the decision to fall in line.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's unfair, especially to a child.
Absolutely. And devastating. Devastating to go through. So how did your body respond when you finally said your truth? Was it relief? Was it grief? Something else entirely?
It's a little bit of relief. And I can't say that my body is fully, it's not complete in whatever transformation it's going to take, because right now I'm telling the truth, but only to a small group of people. And so when I realize that, or when it's actually out in the world and the people who harmed me hears it for themselves, I feel like that's when I'll be able to exhale. You know what I mean? Because right now I still feel like a little piece of it is still back here.
Yeah.
Because everybody doesn't know. I've only spoken that truth to a small group, so it's still a secret.
Right. It's still a secret on a larger scale. Yeah. So let's
So
pause
I'm
right
waiting
here.
for that fullness.
Yeah. We're going to pause because someone listening right now might be holding a truth so heavy that they've convinced themselves they'll never speak it. So I want to ask the people that are listening right now, just for a moment, I'm going to ask some questions. What would it feel like to no longer carry that story alone? Is there a truth inside of you asking to be released? And then finally, who might you become if you finally set it down? I think that's important for our listeners to kind of say, ask themselves, and for all of us who may be carrying secrets that are heavy. So we're going to continue. Robin, what personal truth or belief keeps you grounded when the fear creeps back in?
The truth that I have to hold on to is that God knows me. God hears me, and God loves me, even if nobody else does. He was doing it then, and he continued it. And you know how I know that? Because if it was really to destroy me, it would have. And it didn't. So I have to believe that my higher power is in control. And it may be those scars today that I am healing. Maybe those scars that I got back then showed me that I can heal. And I'm okay with that. Maybe those things I had to go through was for me to be able to speak power today. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And maybe help somebody else in the meantime. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You created a studio where podcasters, photographers, and dreamers can create. How does curating that space feel like an act of healing for you?
Oh, I love that space. Only because people can come there and be whoever they want to be. They can be free to be. And it's a creative space. So if they want to indulge in podcasts, that's an open space for them. If they want to be in a tea party setting, that's an open space for them. If they just want to, like in my boudoir studio, if they just want to show all their shimmies, it's okay.
They can shake their shimmies.
Yes, it's an opportunity for them to just be free without the hassle, without the bag.
Yeah.
You know, my song is by Erica. Yeah, the bag lady. You got to put it down.
You got to put those bags down.
And that's that space. Creating that space in every room, it made me feel like, okay, this is where they can be. And you can put anything behind that be.
Yeah. I love that. And I think I might take you up on that boudoir shoot. I've been wanting to, and I've been feeling so scared, but it would take, I think, a space like that to make me feel safe and to not have judgment behind it. So we'll talk about that afterwards.
It's freeing. Trust me when I tell you, it's freeing.
I can only imagine. That's what I imagine that it would be, freeing, and just acceptance of who you are and in the space that you are, in the body that you are in this moment. And that's something I want to feel. So I'm thinking about it.
Even with it allows women to feel as though the flaws that people see on the outside aren't truly on the inside. And there's no better way to do that than to be elegantly photographed, to show the real you, to show that heart on the outside, regardless of the dimples. Because people, you know what, when you get captured on film, nobody's looking at your dimples. I mean, they may look at these, but they don't look at the others. You look at the softness of a woman. And sometimes we just need to be reminded that when our heart was heavy, we were still a woman. And there's no greater creation than that of a woman. None.
You said a word, Miss Robin. You said a word. What do you believe these women are really craving when they walk into your tea space? What is it that they're looking for when they come and have tea service in your space?
I think they're just coming to belong. They want to be with other women and just to let their hair down without having to look over their shoulder.
Yeah.
I feel like, and not to discredit anybody else's tea experiences, but when I think about getting on that tea bus, you're still around a bunch of other people that you may not know.
Right.
And so you're not totally free because you're cautious of what you say because you don't know who else is next to you. But in my space, and even when I go to their homes to offer the tea party experience, they're with people that they care about. And they know that that space is sacred, even if it's just for the 2 hours that they're together.
Yeah.
They can share. And that's what I want for them.
I
want them to be able to share and let their hair down.
You've witnessed women arrive guarded and leave transformed in some cases. What shifts do you notice when they feel safe enough to take the mask off and just be?
I love the smiles. I love the giggles. I love the giggles from down in their bellies. Not that, you know how you got to be all
like those hardy, throwing your head back and yes.
Absolutely. I love it when they are leaving and they're embracing one another and they feel as though they've shared something. Mm-hmm. And you can't always share in the company that you keep. But at the tea party, that's the only place. That's where you can come and just enjoy. Yeah. And I love that for them.
Let's talk about emotional wellness. When your work is so heart-centered, what you do, so heart-centered, how do you make space for your own emotional healing?
I don't know that I try to make additional space. I like to be in the space with other people where my healing feels like I can actually acknowledge it and it's okay. By myself, kind of sometimes feels like I'm still kind of got it because I tell myself untruths. I tell myself it's okay. I tell myself that, all those things that make me get through the day.
Yeah.
But when I'm with the other women, even though it may not be my tea party specifically, the fact that they leave refreshed helps me.
Helps you. So
it helps me that I gave them that opportunity.
Yeah. Do you have a daily wellness practice like prayers or habits that anchor you?
I do. I have a prayer call every morning from 7 to 8 o'clock. And while I'm not the one leading the prayer, I feel like I'm connected to a body of praying believers, to a body of people who can get a prayer through to heaven. And so when I might not know the words to pray, I'm glad that there's somebody else who can pray for me.
And that's a beautiful thing. That's a intimate and beautiful thing. Just like my my friend circle, the one thing that we always do for one another, especially when we're going through tough times, is there's somebody's going to be there to pray for the other, and that's that's my safety net. Absolutely.
Yes. I had a song when I was growing up, and it came back to me recently. And I'm not a singer, so don't put that on me. But it says, "Somebody prayed for me, had me on her mind, took the time to pray for me. I'm so glad she prayed, mighty glad she prayed. I'm so glad she prayed for me." And it was ringing in my spirit so much the other week that I just felt like it had taken me back to being a little girl in the little, and we used to sing that song. And it's a good reminder that I'm not alone.
Amen. And I got goosebumps. I don't know who told you weren't a singer, but you sang that. I got goosies on my arms. You said where culture and faith kind of align. So you've mentioned, you said there is a balm in Gilead, and you also quote Erykah Badu. How have faith and culture helped shape your healing?
Faith has always been my base, even during the time of struggle, even when I was challenged by a predator. There was still faith. When I couldn't tell my secret to anybody out loud, I could still, in my little prayers,
Mm-hmm.
tell that to God. And so that's been my grounding. I have bent more than I should over the years. I have fallen away from the church, but never away from my faith.
God.
And so I love that. I blend my faith with other people who, while I may not agree with everything they say, but their heart says that God is the center of it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I might not listen to all of pop culture or R&B music, but I'm going to listen to something that speaks to my heart.
Yeah.
And Erykah Badu, she just has it. And in her and India Ari, I love them.
Oh, I love India Ari.
It's so soulful to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love things that build women up or encourage women. And I feel like
Yes.
both of those artists do that.
I would agree with that.
Not so much with everybody else.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You challenged the myth that tea parties aren't for Black women. What does reclaiming that space mean to you?
I don't like the idea that we as in Black women, are not a part of something, as though something is above us or out of our reach. And tea parties seem to be that way. For a while, it just seemed like everything I heard about a tea party was from the British
Mm-hmm.
or royalty. And it seemed like we were not a part of that. And I wanted to turn that around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whatever it is y'all have over there, y'all as in people who drink tea that don't necessarily get together with people that look like me, I wanted us to experience that. And if bringing it home was my way of giving back to my community, so be it. Here we come.
Here we come. Here we come.
Yes, because we do everything with such luxury. Black women carry a load all the time. And I know that we can do this in such a way that people will be following us.
Okay. We have such a natural elegance to us, I feel.
Absolutely.
I think our culture, our style, everything and don't get me started, we're so copied. There, the Black woman style and grace, the way we move, the way we walk, the way we do our hair. We are the most copied group in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
My color is a wine. The average person might call it burgundy, but wine seems like that just gives you something else.
Yes.
And so that's why I chose wine. Or some family of red has always been my thing, but that wine just says that richness, that luxury.
Mm-hmm.
And I come from a Kojic church.
I do too.
And purple. Yeah. Purple was that color. It just gives you something. Just makes
royalty.
You feel good. It makes you, yes. And I love it. Yeah. We represent, and I am committed to doing my part. And when you see me, when you see the things that I do, I want to represent us well.
And you do. You already do. As a Black woman doing healing work, how do you reclaim your softness in a world that often demands your strength?
I reclaim my softness by giving a name to what I've been through. Mm-hmm. And once I was able to identify the hurt, I was able to find the softness in being able to accept it. One, that it wasn't my fault.
Right.
Two, it wasn't about me. And three, it did not break me. So to me, that's just claiming all of that was supposedly taken away. That's just me taking it back. That's my softness. That rigidity that they created Mm-mm. Chip away at that.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not carrying that. Mm-mm.
Right. Only after I learned what word to call it.
Right.
And I finally called it abuse. Nothing fancy, but
Right.
you don't know the word abuse as a kid.
Right.
But I know that word. And it took a long time to name it, because you know what? Everything was done in love. You know why it was done in love? Because they were the people who were supposed to be loving me. So
Right.
how could it not be in love? And I realized that that's not love, that's abuse. Yeah.
Iyanla Van Zandt always says, call a thing. And then that's when you're able to finally release it and move through it. So naming it
Amen.
helped you.
Amen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You said something in your responses that stayed with me. You said, although it took me some time, I realized I'm just as important as those around me. What does legacy mean to you now after realizing this?
Legacy means that I don't want to say that that's hard to say, but legacy is what is to me what I'm leaving behind. And I'm hoping that the trail I leave behind is courage. That courage, when somebody sees my story, hears my story, has a chance to talk to me, I'm hoping that the legacy left behind is that they, somewhere on the inside, have the courage to do what took me for years to do.
Right.
But they'll be able to do it soon. And for those that may not be going through a trauma, but just to know that they have the courage to speak up for themselves, no matter what the situation is.
Right.
So that's what legacy is for me, being able to leave somebody with just that thought, if no other, but to allow her voice to be her power.
Using her
Speak
voice
truth.
Power. Mm-hmm.
Right. No matter who might not like it, speak that truth.
Yep. There is so much power in that. So much power in that. And it no longer has control over you once it's out, the person, the situation, or anything, it loses all of its power once you say the thing.
Absolutely. Give it a name, say it, and say it loud, and say it to anybody who will listen, because that's freeing and powerful. And I hate the idea that there is another person, another young person, another girl, even a boy, that there's anyone out there carrying a load that was not created for them, but that was given to them on purpose.
And that leads me to this next question. Now that you say that, what would you say to a woman or a man who's still hiding their story because they don't want to cause problems?
It's a problem that they're carrying. It's a problem for themselves. Mm-hmm. Let that go. We weren't born to carry stuff.
Yeah.
We were born to be free.
Yeah. Give it to the rightful owner, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
He created it. She created it. Give it back. Yeah. It's not yours. You didn't come with it. I remember on active duty, I'm a retired veteran, and they used to say sometimes when you didn't get to spend time with your family, they would say that if the Army wanted you to have a family, they'd have given you one in your duffel bag, which seemed really mean.
It does seem like, wow, okay.
Right. But I have to apply that. Mm-hmm. That's some stuff somebody else created. Right. That's not yours. It didn't come in your original kit. Give it back.
Give it back.
No matter what it takes to give it back. When you give it back, you are free. Mm. And I want women to be free. Freeing is got to feel better than I feel like I'm coming into every day. A little bit lighter, a little bit stretched, a little bit more flexible.
Okay. Shoulders,
yes.
Away from your ears. Because I find sometimes I sit like this. I'm like, girl, relax your shoulders. Let go. Let your body be
It'll
loose.
make shaking that shimmy a lot easier.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Loosens all kinds of stuff up.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, Robin, what boundaries have you had to put in place? Because you got to protect your peace, right? So what boundaries have you had to put in place to protect your peace while you're doing this work, this vulnerable work?
I definitely had to put in boundaries. And the first boundary I put in was keeping my distance from those who were predators.
Yeah.
Some still walk, breathe, just moving on as though nothing happened. And so that was my first hedge of protection, to keep my distance.
Mm-hmm.
And I will keep that distance forever.
Okay.
And then my second boundary is now to not live in the shame. Yeah. Shame will have you bound.
Yeah.
And when you felt, or when I felt like maybe it was my fault, maybe I did something, maybe this, maybe that, but couldn't talk about it, it gave me shame. When my mom didn't allow me to speak my truth, it made me feel ashamed.
Yeah.
And so the additional boundary I have is making sure that I get rid of the shame.
Isn't
That
something?
shame will no longer bind me.
I just think about being a child and having something traumatic happen to you, and the idea of you carrying the shame and the guilt of what happened to you, and the craziness of it all, right? And having to hold that, and growing up with that, and the decisions that you made in your life as a result of like what you said before, like who you would have been had you never had that to carry. It that's the one thing that really gets me and pricks my heart, is any kind of crime or trauma against children. And I think about myself, and I think about things that I went to as a little girl who cannot protect themselves, but yet we feel the need to protect others, even though they did harm. It's something I'll never understand, but I get it.
That silence was a protection. That silence said they might not go to jail. They might not get beat up. They might not get hurt. They may not lose a job. Whatever it was, that silence protected them, but not me. Yeah. So that shame that had me bound, we're done with that.
Yeah.
We are done.
Yeah. So you may have answered this in that response, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What's one thing you've released that you once thought you couldn't live without?
I don't know that I've ever thought that I couldn't live without the shame or the silence. I've always wanted to live without that. And so if there's anything that I didn't think that I could live without, I don't know. That's hard, because I don't know who I would have been had those things not happened. Had they not happened, I don't know who I would have been. So I don't know what I'm missing.
Yeah.
But I do know that where I am today is where I am and where I'm supposed to be because of those things.
Yeah.
And so maybe I would have had a different outlook, made different choices, and they may not have brought me to where I am today. And I'm proud of who I am today.
Yeah.
And so I can't say that I miss something or what I would have done without, because I don't know. I just know me, and I know where I am, and I know I'm proud of me.
Yeah.
I say it way too many times. I was a soldier before I wore the uniform.
I heard that.
I've been, but I didn't break. So now I'm becoming.
Now you're becoming.
Absolutely.
So if you could sit with your younger self, let's say age 10 or so, what would you tell her about healing?
That it's coming.
Mm.
Definitely that it's coming. And it may take a while. And that I feel like the longer it takes, the more of a lesson there was in it. Healing only comes if you can imagine a scar or something that you got. Maybe you skinned your knee as a kid and it didn't heal right away. But when it did heal, that every time you look at that scar, it took you back to that place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a good chance that you were having a good time when you fell out the tree, when you fell off your
Mm-hmm.
skateboard, when you fell off your bike and you got that scar. It took you to a place of a happy place, something that happened good. And I feel like telling her that the scar or the wound that she has, as it begins to heal over, scar up, there'll be some times that she can look back and say, yeah, that was a good day though. In the middle of it all, there was a good day.
Yeah.
And even a better day coming. A better day coming.
A better day coming.
Mm-hmm.
And when the tea is poured and the stories are flowing, what do you silently pray each woman walks away knowing about herself?
That she is enough. That it was not her fault. She is not to blame. And she is beautiful inside and out, regardless of the scars. And because of the scars, they make her unique. They make us all unique.
Absolutely.
I love her. Definitely do. I love all my sisters. And I may not even know their name.
Yeah.
And just like somebody prayed for me, I'm praying for her. And until we meet again, I wish God's blessings.
Robin.
You're not supposed to be emotional.
I know. Well, I can. I'm allowed to be. I'm
Okay.
allowed to be. So it's 5 years from now. How would you like your episode to influence listeners?
In 5 years, I'm hoping that everybody has spoken their truth. I don't want them to carry this. I'm hoping that they hear this soon and they make the decision to speak truth to their power. So I'm hoping that in 5 years, we won't have this issue. But if by chance in 5 years that somebody is dealing with it and hears me, come on out, girl. We're waiting with open arms to hold you through it. Whatever it is you got to do, come on home. We're waiting.
Thank you for that. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your honesty, for the beauty you've built with your tea house, and for reminding us that healing doesn't always have to be loud. It can sound like a whisper.
It does.
It can be a clink of a teacup or a deep exhale in good company. You've shown us that we don't have to hold it all, and we don't have to do it alone. And that's what your tea parties represent.
Absolutely. It's overflowing.
It's overflowing. It's overflowing. Thank you again. I loved listening to your story and how it's changed you and how you've evolved as a result of what you've been through. And I'm glad you were here. And I want you to tell our listeners how they can find you.
You can find me on all social media platforms. I am on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, all Rendezvous in Style or some version of Rendezvous in Style. Not to get it twisted with Rendezvous Style. There's always going to be an N, a capital N in there somewhere. Yes. That's where you can find me. I have a table waiting and a pot brewing. So until next time, sip your best and enjoy the brew.
Thank you so much, Robin. Thank you for that. I'm so glad I was able to get her on this episode and sit down and talk to her. She's been through a lot, but as she has said time and time again, she has bent, but she has not broken. If this episode moves something in you, share it with a sister who's been carrying too much. You can follow Robin at Rendezvous in Style on Instagram. And if you're in her city here in Atlanta, book her space, sip the tea, speak your truth because your voice matters. So until next time, may you find the courage to be seen and the strength to be still. See you next time.